Hi, my name is Shami. I run Omologato, and we're here at Bicester Heritage, the Motorsport UK headquarters, at the launch of the ROKiT British F4 Championship, certified by the FIA. And today I'm really pleased that I'm joined by a friend, somebody that I admire massively. I read his tweets and look at all his photographs and wonder what he's looking at. But I think he's probably one of the best technical gurus in racing in the UK, Craig Scarborough. Thank you for coming today.
It's great to be here. It's great to be in front of the car itself.
Yeah, it's lovely to see it finally, isn't it? After all talking for months and months, we've been talking about the car, the development, what's happening for next year, and it's finally here in this wonderful livery with our logo on the side of it. So I'm even more pleased about it. But today I really wanted to do the filming to talk about how we're involved with racing around the world. We sponsor as a company Formula 4 in America. We're doing other countries in 2022. When the opportunity came up with the British Championship, and I believe it's going up another level, especially with the partners that they've got involved. And I've been working with Motorsport UK for a number of years now, so it's wonderful that the governing body is now running what I deem to be probably one of the best entry-level series. So as soon as I heard this a few months ago, I actually contacted them and said, I need to get involved. What can we do? How can I put my money where my mouth is? Because I'm quite vocal about motorsport. I don't just pay to put a sticker on it. I want to get involved, and I want to get involved with shaping the future of sport as well, not just the sticker. So that's what I would like this film to sort of convey, is that we're not here trying to sell you anything today. We're here to try to show you how wonderful this champion's going to be next year. I'm not a racing driver. I wish I was. I never had the money when I was younger. And if I get into a car now, I am the slowest guy on track, but I don't care. I enjoy it. But if I was younger and I had somebody who was able to finance me to get through, the path has been quite blurry in the last 10, 15 years, I would say. But now, the brands that they've got involved with British F4, they're world-class brands. They're not, and I'm not belittling any brand that got involved before, but these guys will open doors to other championships. We have access to other championships. We have access to other sponsors. Our sponsors and our co-sponsors in different countries are looking at what I'm doing, and I'm saying, well, actually, I'm getting involved with this, and so we've opened up a door, and you know, we've got a few meetings in the next few weeks where our co-sponsors in different countries are now coming to British Formula 4 and looking at it because we're looking at it. Like I said, we were talking about the technical side of it briefly before we went on camera, before we started filming. And as a fan, I've already noticed the halo, which is a welcome relief. But I've also noticed a couple of other things which have enhanced the look of the car. It looks longer to me, but you can explain maybe it isn't longer, but it does look longer. And it looks a lot more dynamic.
So what we're looking at here is an F4 car. So as we say, this is a part of this new ladder. And it's not just trying to create a car that fits into that kind of ladder, but they also apply all the safety regulations, all of the performance regulations, so people can't spend too much money. So the whole thing has been thought about. Now, Tartus, an Italian manufacturer, they've been making F4 cars for a number of years, previously raced British F4, albeit with a Ford engine. And that was a slightly earlier chassis than this one. I think we can call this an all-new car. Now, I'm sure there's some bits in there that are common to both cars.
Certainly looks
but because they've got a new power unit and because they've put all of this new safety stuff into it and revised aerodynamics, I think it's fair to call this an all-new car. So this is a Tartus 421. Now, it's made not far from the Monza circuit, so this really has got some proper racing heritage in it. Tartus producing cars for all sorts of championships, W Series, for example, as well.
Oh, right, yes,
and
of course,
other regional F3 championships around the world. So this is relatively new. So the updates that we've had this year, we'll talk about the safety in a lot more depth in a moment because there's a lot on here. And it's very important when you've got drivers as young as 15 racing these cars. And not anyone. I mean, we don't want to see accidents on ITV4. The other big changes in the motor. So now, whereas it was an old 1.6 litre Ford engine, it's now only a 1.4 litre Abarth engine, which makes you think,
no.
But it's turbocharged. They're all going to be tuned to be within a fraction of a percentage of each other. It's really impressive. Neil Brown Engineering looking after that side of the operation. But it's 160 horsepower. And that's plenty, especially when you get a bit of a turbo rush from this as well. But when you look at the performance of the Abarth 595s, the Fiat 500 derived cars, you know, when you've got that amount of power coming out of the road car already, you know that this isn't going to be a stressed engine.
It's all about power to weight though, right?
Power to weight, it's a very light car, but you're not going to be blowing up engines, you're not going to be wearing engines down, and you can, you know, gain performance by just spending money on a new power unit.
So would this engine be a derivative of the actual road car?
This is the road car based engine.
Oh, is it?
So while they do a lot of work to it, so they put a big dry sump and a new cylinder head to hold it all to the chassis to make it a stressed member of the chassis.
So they pull it out of an Abarth road car
Bits
and then adapt it.
will come from the, you know, the Milan production line, wherever they make Abarth engines. It's the 1.4 T-Jet engine.
Oh, wonderful.
And we know they're super tunable.
Yes.
And we know they're reliable.
Yes.
So that sits in the back. So that really gives these cars that the reliability, that, you know, the cost efficiency, and, you know, that sort of fun driving factor, having a bit of a turbo.
So they're just as revvy as the road cars as well.
Exactly. If anyone has driven,
would they adjust the revs on that, or would they be limited as well? Would they
want to cap it, because again, you want to make sure the engine's not overstressed. You don't want people blowing engines up. You don't want people having engines that are a bit more tired than others, so that everyone gets a fair crack of the whip. And as I say, you can't go.
And then being FIA certified championship, do the FIA then seal the engines before every race, or are you allowed to do? I mean, I know in Formula One you have parc fermé, and you know, we saw with Lewis Hamilton's car, it was 0.2 millimeter out, wasn't it, his wing?
Yes.
So is this championship going to be as regulated to that kind of level?
It's even more regulated.
Oh, really?
So this is a single make championship, so you cannot change any parts on the car. You cannot buy other bits in. You can't buy different dampers. You couldn't tune the engine. So yes, them engines are effectively sealed, and, you know, they go back to Neil Brown to make sure that they're up to spec and, you know, go rotated in a pool. The same with everything else. All the teams can do with these cars is work with the driver, and the race engineers can adjust some of the suspension, can adjust the rear wing, play around with things like ride heights. Even the front wing is barely adjustable. At the end of the day, it's a driver championship, but it's about bringing the best of the drivers out, not bringing the richest drivers out, not bringing the most technical drivers out necessarily, but, you know, pure driving talent. That's what this is all about.
You see it on TV. They say, right, the guy's going to race for F4. You have a few names that you recognise, and you follow the championship. But I don't think anyone's articulated that actually it is just the car, and you're watching somebody's raw talent. And if they're great, they're great. And if they're not so great, then they're not so great.
Yeah.
I always had the impression that they would play around with more than just what you described just now.
Well, historically, that has been the case in lots of championships, and as much as a lot of people can be quite negative towards single make championships, in terms of capping cost, they can be very good, because you're not going to go and spend £10,000 on a set of dampers. You're not going to buy different brake pads and brake discs.
And then it just becomes with who has the most money.
Exactly.
And we're going to IndyCar. The reason I think the IndyCar racing is so good, and I've been to the 500, I don't know how many times, but every time I go, it's the most glorious thing ever. The racing is so close because they're all Dallara chassis cars. Okay, you have Chevrolet, Honda. There was talk about Ferrari, but that was, I don't know what that was about. But I think there is a third engine supplier who's talking about coming in. But the good thing about IndyCar racing is because it is a spec car, and I believe that they're allowed to play with fuels and oils and various other things. But the racing is so close and so exciting simply because it is a one-make series. So I would say it actually helps the championship. I actually said it would help the racing from a fan's point of view. So with this F4 championship, where do you see, I'm 7 years old, I've got a bit of money and I want to go racing. Where does this fit in? How does it fit in? And financially, I suppose we don't know what the budgets are for next year, but financially, you know, is this something that you have to have millions to get involved with, or is this something that actually, you know, if you've got a bit of grit between your teeth and you've got a great sponsor and hopefully a parent that can, you know, I don't know, work harder.
Runs a watch company, perhaps.
Well, yeah maybe.
So yeah, I mean,
where does it fit in?
So you can go from karting straight into this championship, and it would be a relatively easy transition because it's not a complicated car. You need clutch and double heel and toes and all this kind of gear lever thing, so it's quite natural. You can have other championships. So in the UK, it's the Ginetta Juniors. It's quite common for young drivers to get full circuit, full size car experience. But this is effectively the first step on the single seater ladder, and the first step although FIA certify obviously karting, it's the first step on the full FIA step up to other championships.
Yes.
So these are people that really are looking at getting up that ladder quickly.
Right,
so
okay.
a season or two of this, move on to regional F4, which obviously isn't that much more competitive, and then into F3 with the FIA series, F2, and well, who knows where. It could be Formula E, it could be the WEC, it could be IndyCar, it could be Formula One.
Yeah.
You know, everyone will start to kind of divert out as you get
So
onto
getting
this
in
stage.
this car, you can actually see where you might end up.
Yeah, I mean, to get into this, you've got to be you've got to be serious. You've got to have some talent. This isn't, you know, just someone that wants to go club racing. This is a proper step up for professional young racing drivers. To say as young as 15, which to me seems very young. At 15, I wasn't ready to even ride a moped, let alone run around in something like this.
Wow.
But what the FIA have done, they've been very clever, is that they're kind of building all of these blocks up from each other. So some of the standards, some of the suppliers, especially the safety side of things, is consistent all the way through, so that these drivers really are looked after while they're on circuit as they build up.
Yeah, no, it's not wonderful to hear it from you, because like I said, from an outsider and a racing fan, okay, financially I'm in, but I still want to learn everything about where does it take you. And it's wonderful to know that with the FIA's input and with Motorsport UK's input, it's wonderful to know that there is a clear path with where you could end up with it. So, Craig, thank you for coming down today. I really appreciate you doing it. I didn't want this to just be a video of us talking about what we do and how we do it. I want to talk about how we get involved, why we get involved, where we support. And I use a hashtag, and we use a hashtag on our social media. It's either hashtag support the sport or supporting the sport. We're not just about selling the product. We're not just about taking money off you and going enjoying it. We're putting it back into the sport that we all love, right? Yeah. And for me, it's an absolute privilege to be a part of it. And like I said, thank you for coming down today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. Thank you.